I think the willful ignorance
cognitive
is
dissonance.
extremely high level and powerful and doing its job well. But like I still want to call it willful because I don't want to take their agency away from them because they have it. They do in fact have it. Like go
Well,
ahead.
is it? I think of it like the fish doesn't know it's swimming in water, right? So acculturation feels it doesn't, so a lot of people it doesn't feel like it. They don't think they are acculturated, right? They think so like here's one cognitive dissonance where people are like, yeah, people come to this country, they should assimilate. Okay, assimilate to what? Now that is the $1 million question, right? Well, our Western, okay, West, ooh, well, that's where's West, like and then they kind of are like, well, I don't know, the Enlightenment, they just kind of stop thinking at that point to think that they actually have, you know, ideological values that are passed down through them, and really the distance between a reactionary centrist and a GOP conservative reactionary is pretty damn short,
I
but
mean,
they don't see it.
don't a lot of centrists think that those enlightenment values like are like I've spoken to some who like are like, "Oh no, it is my ideology, but it's just a better ideology because it's like objective truth or whatever."
Right, so that which is so here's another thing that kind of objective truth that kind of um why I don't really believe that anymore, and part of that has to do with my understanding of consciousness. So there's a guy, Antonio Damasio. He's a professor at USC, and he basically describes consciousness, in a certain way. But in order to have consciousness, you have to have subjectivity, right? You have to have some sort of perspective, a sense of self. Like seeing yourself in relation to the rest of the world. And without subjectivity, you wouldn't do anything. You would just be like a vegetable. So you could have your brain, your body, but if you don't have any kind of feelings about wanting, any kind of motivation, you won't move, right? Be catatonic. So we are basically subjective creatures by our nature, right? We are subjective. We couldn't have a sense of self without subjectivity, right? That's the umbrella. And then within that, we do have tools of logic and reason, mostly logic. I'd say like reason is a little self-serving, I'd say, but logic is, I think is good, right? Is logic is a way we can like have consensus and say, okay, step A, B, and C, right? And then so I think the people who delude themselves into, there's this Western concept or Western value or norm that says, we are, um, our brain is objective and our feelings interfere with it. And it's really, that doesn't make any sense to me because, again, you can't have a sense of self without consciousness. So we are feeling creatures who have these amazing tools, at reasoning and logic, as opposed to, right. So anyway, so we're always going to be um driven by, our feelings to some extent. Now, again, not that we don't have tools to help us modify our behavior or understand our feelings or sort our feelings, but as we talked about earlier, like working through that cognitive dissonance is hard. And then even once you resolve it, that is more like a temporary answer based on what you know today, right? And so a lot of people are like, no, I have, a beat on objective reality. And so they're never going to grow emotionally, and they're always going to have these blind spots that other people can see, and they just feel so misunderstood because they're not, picking a team when in fact all their culture war commitments are definitely associated with one team, right? So